This is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is here. So let's unbox it and check it out. This new Pacific blue color is such a nice addition to the lineup, and it's by far my favorite of the options this year. The back glass once again has a matte, frosted finish, which still feels nice and premium, while the Apple logo and camera bump are unfinished and still glossy. And just look at the size of those camera sensors, but more on those later. Let's take a quick look at the accessories here, which are limited to only a Lightning to USB-C cable. SIM ejector tool, quick start guide, and that traditional Apple sticker. No charging brick or earpods this year. Now for the iPhone itself. The front glass is now coated in the ceramic shield technology for increased shatter resistance, although this is not something included on the back glass. While a welcome upgrade, this doesn't however improve scratch resistance, so be mindful of that as well as the larger area that's taken up by the new camera system on the back. The sides are once again stainless steel with a glossy finish, which includes several antenna lines this year for bringing 5G functionality to these new iPhones, including a new side cutout, making a departure from the otherwise seamless design that Apple tends to bring to their products. Beyond that, the new iPhone 12 Pro Max brings with it a host of new features and improvements over previous models, including the largest display in an iPhone thus far, as well as the inclusion of MagSafe for wireless charging and accessories, including this new silicone case made for the new models, with a ring of magnets built in to match those in the back of the iPhone, so that when you snap it on, it sticks, and you get this neat pairing animation. The new 15-watt wireless MagSafe charger also magnetizes to the back of the iPhone for perfect alignment, and a corresponding charge animation fills the entire screen. Compared to last year's iPhone 11 Pro Max, you can save up to a half hour of charging time from 20% battery with this faster standard. This will, however, require a 20-watt USB-C power adapter to reach its full charging potential. Stacking it up side by side against the iPhone 11 Pro Max, the size increase is subtle, though mostly only pronounced by the flatter, boxier design of the 12 Pro Max. Certain design elements otherwise carry over from the materials to the Apple logo placement. The iPhone 12 models are all thinner this year, although that may not be immediately noticeable next to the rounded edges of their predecessors. More apparent is the repositioning of the mute switch and volume buttons, as well as the power button, lower down the sides for ease of reach. The SIM card slot has also swapped sides to make room for the new 5G antenna cutout. What stands out the most between these models is the expanded camera square on the 12 Pro Max, for addition of the LiDAR sensor, as well as larger camera sensors that take advantage of the extra room inside this maxed out frame. The camera system is the main draw for many to this top-end model, bringing a few notable upgrades over its counterparts in the iPhone 12 lineup this year. The main wide-angle lens garners the same wide f.1.6 aperture, but with bigger 1.7 micron pixels, and sensor shift optical image stabilization that stabilizes the sensor itself rather than the entire camera module. The telephoto lens switches to a 65mm focal length, the first in an iPhone, which provides a 5x optical zoom and with the new LiDAR sensor can now shoot portrait photos in low lighting conditions with night mode functionality. All of this comes together to give the capability to capture some great shots in a variety of scenarios. Portrait mode, using the new 65mm telephoto lens, has much of the same features for changing the depth of focus and portrait lighting effects, but with more accuracy in lighting with the LiDAR sensor. The change in focal length may not be noticeable at first, but in this side-by-side here with the iPhone 11 Pro Max, you can see less distortion in the proportions for the subject. In other more busy scenes, you can tell that more of the subject in the same plane is in focus, with a more dynamic depth of field applied on the 12 Pro Max. The photos you see here, as well as all subsequent ones, have been taken straight from the phones without any corrections made. Ultra-wide shots like these of the sky have less distinct differences, although the 12 Pro Max seems to pick up greater detail in the highlights. In low light conditions, highlights really pop, and the detail is retained better with the wider aperture and larger pixels in the wide-angle lens, also giving a tighter bokeh in the foreground. This is even more noticeable with smaller points of light in a scene, which it just so happens to be the perfect time of year to capture. There is less of a starburst effect on individual lights, and more detail retained in the light source. Night mode photos also allow for longer exposure, which can further brighten a scene, providing more contrast at higher brightness. This becomes very apparent in this shot of the night sky, with the iPhone 12 Pro Max accurately exposing the light source and foreground without trying to add sharpness or unnatural detail to the clouds around the moon specifically. Video is something that's harder to capture and compare in this format, however, because of the new potential of HDR and Dolby Vision on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. But here you can see in this short clip comparison how much more light the 12 Pro Max can pick up. Using this iPhone over the past week or so now has been a true delight. From the form factor, which to me feels more well distributed and balanced weight-wise in such a large phone, to the big, bright OLED screen and amazing new camera system. Despite some desired features like ProMotion getting left out this year, in use, this iPhone actually feels like more of an upgrade year over year than I previously expected. Sure, 5G is only truly great on street corners with ultra-wideband connectivity, and Ceramic Shield may be more shatterproof, but it's definitely seemingly less scratch resistant. But what Apple accomplishes with iPhone this year is still pretty great overall. The Pro models have seen their first increase in RAM to 6GB in quite some time, which helps quell those multitasking woes. And the MagSafe functionality has some great potential, even though it seems basic for now, for current and future accessories. In fact, the entire iPhone lineup this year has really rounded out the offering in terms of sizes and feature set, making it the most accessible and capable upgrade in a while for many. There are always improvements that can be made and exciting features to dream about, but for me at least, this year's iPhone models ended up bringing a lot to the table. So now that you know what I think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. While you're there, feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you found it informative, and be sure to subscribe for even more tech videos coming to this channel. So until next time, I'm SeanXTech.